Hey, what's up, ghouls and gals? Today we are finishing off our themed horror movie week for the month, which was high school horrors. And of course, we are talking about Return to Horror High. I wanted to keep this all 80s horror themed because that's my favorite era of horror. So today we are talking about the lesser talked about Return to Horror High. My next video after this will be a very special movie review for Vampire Zombies from Space, which was partially, I don't know if partially or if all, shot in my hometown here. So I'm very excited to talk about that. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give this a thumbs up, subscribe for more, check out all of my links down below if you would like to see any more of me or support the channel any further. Let's talk about Return to Horror High. Now, this is definitely an oddball meta horror film, and I feel like it really was in the sweet spot of where the meta horror began. I do think it slipped under the radar, but not for die-hard horror fans. I am sure you recognize the poster. It is very memorable. But this is a horror comedy with parody and slasher elements, and the tagline for this one is "The school spirit is alive," and, well, before we get any further, I would like to thank my patrons for always supporting the channel. If you would like to support me and watch Return to Horror High, you can do so for $2 over on Patreon. Thank you once again to my patrons. Let's get into what this movie is all about. A few years ago, a mysterious serial killer caused panic on Crippen High School. The killer was never caught, but a movie company, Cosmic Pictures, has decided to make a feature film about the events on location at the now abandoned school. Since members of cast and crew start to disappear without a trace, it seems history is repeating itself. I definitely think if you like Scream, you would like this movie. I don't think the characters are as likable or memorable, but it is a really fun watch. The movie plays with structure. It cuts between real life, quote unquote, real life, and movie deaths. I once again will like to remind you guys, these people are all alive at the end of the day. It's fine to like these kind of movies. But anyways, this kind of structure really does keep you guessing until the very end what is real and what is being staged or what lies are being told to us. But spoiler alert, 3, 2, 1, by the end, it is revealed that the production company obviously staged most of the deaths for publicity, but not all of them were fake. I would like to mention this film has a very early George Clooney role. He looks really good in this movie, but he's not in the film for long. It's just really fun to see a cameo from a beloved celebrity pop up. And like I said, this was meta before the big meta boom. I feel like this is at the very beginning of where meta horror really started making its stamp. It predates Scream by almost a decade, but it still carries that kind of tongue-in-cheek charisma and charm that we love with those kind of horror movies. And obviously, we get the commentary on a bunch of horror tropes that were more prevalent in the 80s and continued on through horror till now. Now, despite the title, it has no connection to Horror High from 1976. The return is just marketing. But Return to Horror High is one of the lesser talked about horror comedies from the 80s, and I think fans often revisit this film to see the Clooney cameo, but I think it really is also a fun slasher for fans who like movies that play with the narrative and subvert your expectations, and are also a little cheesy, silly, goofy. Now, really quickly, I just want to put some more movies on your radar if you don't necessarily love the kind of 80s high school horrors I've been talking about. I feel like all of these from the ones I mentioned in my previous video to now almost have the same kind of formula, but let's talk about other horror movies that have to do with high school that you still might want to watch. Starting off with Class of Nukem High, 1986, a trauma classic, an over-the-top horror comedy with a school setting. So much absurd gore and just a silly fun time. Popcorn from 1991, a film within a film meta slasher. Wes Craven's New Nightmare from 1994, of course, took the film about making a horror film concept seriously, breaking the fourth wall in a more dark way with different kinds of tones. Of course, we have Scream from 1996. It popularized the meta horror wave that Return to Horror High was really dabbling in a decade earlier. And finally, I would like to put this one out here. I know it's not a high school horror, but it does have to deal with a meta tone and vibe that we've been talking about. Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon from 2006, a mockumentary style meta horror with both parody and homage vibes and tones, and it's so good. I just wanted to throw a couple more recommendations out there if this was not your bag today. But Return to Horror High really is one of those early meta horror experiments, poking fun at slashers while still indulging in the blood and guts and giving the viewer what they want. It's really fun. It is stupidly fun to watch. So once again, if you would like to watch Return to Horror High, check out my Patreon for $2. There are so many movies on my Patreon that you can watch for free or for $2 to support here. Like I said, my next video will be Vampire Zombies from Space review. Honestly, you want to talk about silly goofy, it's that. I cannot wait to talk about that with you guys. So I will see you in a few days for a new video. Thank you for watching. Sayonara, Spooky Vamp.